Dribbling with the inside of the foot is an important skill in soccer. A player uses this skill when they are dribbling towards an open space or towards an opponent. They also use this skill when they are wanting to change direction of the ball, either to left or right or back the way they came. And lastly, they will use the inside of the foot to dribble when they want to keep very close control of the ball, particularly in a tight pressure situation. Now let's look at coaching this technique step by step. Step 1. Always make sure that the ball is directly in front of the foot that is dribbling the ball. Step 2. Bring the dribbling foot outwards so that the inside of the foot is facing the middle of the ball. Step 3. Contact the center of the ball with the inside of the foot, pushing the ball in the intended direction. Be sure to keep the touch nice and light to keep the ball close to the body. Step 4. While dribbling the ball, keep your head up with your eyes looking about 2 yards in front of you so you can see both the ball and the space surrounding you. Now let's look at demonstrating this technique to your young players. Now let's look at some common mistakes that young players make when performing this technique and solutions on how to fix them. Common mistake number 1 is that the young player gets the ball tangled up in their feet as they're dribbling the ball. This is because they're standing over the ball as they're dribbling. Make sure that the player has the ball in front of them as they're dribbling so that the ball is clear of their feet and they get a nice clean touch. Common mistake number 2 is that the young player has a heavy touch on the ball and pushes the ball too far ahead of them. This gives the opportunity for the opponent to get possession of the ball. Always remind players to make a nice light touch on the ball, keeping the ball as close to their body as possible. The only time that it is suitable to really push the ball with a heavy touch is when the player has lots of space in front of them. The third common mistake that young players make is that they push the ball to the side instead of in front of them. This is because they bring their dribbling foot out to the side instead of squaring the inside of the foot towards the middle of the ball in the direction that they want to push the ball towards. It's important to remind players to really get their foot out so that the inside of the foot is facing in the direction that they want the ball to go towards. The fourth common mistake that young players make is that when they're dribbling the ball, they have their head down, staring at the ball. When they do this, they're unable to see anything that's happening around them, particularly if an opponent is coming in. They won't realize that the opponent is there until the last moment when it's too late. It is important to remind players that when they're dribbling with the ball, have their head up and have their eyes looking about 2 yards in front of them. That way they can see the ball